some people, you ask to be cryogenically preserved because they have a terminal illness. But for me, I just want to survive the energy crisis.
Yeah, you're a bit cold.
Yeah, I'm a bit cold.
Yeah, I think it's a normal, rational reaction.
Yes.
Rather than putting on another jumper.
The AI fix the digital zoo. Smart machines, what will they do? Flies to Mars or bake a bad cake? World domination, a silly mistake. Bots with brains.
Hello, and welcome to episode 35 of the AI Fix, your weekly dive headfirst into the bizarre and sometimes mind-boggling world of artificial intelligence. My name is Cluley.
And I'm Mark Stockley.
Mark, let's race straight into the news.
President Trump announces the $500 billion Stargate project.
Shipment of Friend AI digital companion delayed.
O3 Mini is here. O3 is on the way.
Were Donald Trump's executive orders written by AI?
AI agents are here.
LinkedIn accused of using private messages to train AI.
AI superintelligence could be here in 2 to 3 years' time.
Right, where shall we begin?
So I think we should start with the most consequential story of the week. We've had AI agents come out this week. We've got Trump announcing the Stargate project. But you said that Friend, the AI digital companion, has been delayed.
That's right. It's the AI-powered necklace, which we spoke about in a previous episode, which marketed itself as not imaginary. Turns out it is perhaps imaginary, at least for now. It's failed to show up on time. Now, the people at Friend, you remember Friend, this is the thing you wear around your neck or you're attached to your collar, and it listens to your conversations and it chirrups, and on your phone will pop up some advice as to how to ask a girl out, or I hope you're enjoying your sandwich.
It's the AI friend for people who don't have any real friends.
That's right. It's not only about not having any real friends, you also don't have a friend because it doesn't exist. They have announced it in an email to customers who signed up in advance that their AI companion will now only be available from Q3 of 2025 rather than Q1 as they originally hoped. In the email which the founder sent to people, he not only apologised about the manufacturing and the beta issues which he's experiencing with his startup, but also on the friend.com website, if you go there right now as I speak, there is a bit of a chatbot. You can practice having little AI chats with an imaginary friend up there.
I've just gone there.
Yes.
There's a picture of a guy with a little green dot, which indicates he's online.
Yeah.
And it says his name is Donald.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
And it says, hold on, I'm in the middle of a big interview right now, lol.
Oh, so we can't chat to you at the moment.
I don't know.
Maybe speaking to Fox News.
Are you trying to get a job because the Friend business is not happening? That stings a bit. Writing's my main gig. Friend's just a side thing. Oh. Do your customers know this? Do you think this is a chatbot?
You're direct to the CEO. Now, Mark, O3 Mini.
So OpenAI CEO Sam Altman went to Twitter a few days ago to announce the company's latest model, O3 Mini, will be available in about 2 weeks' time. So the Mini models are smaller versions of OpenAI's flagship models, and they're basically faster and cheaper.
Do we know why they're called O? Why are they given the O moniker?
O was Omni, I think.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So the O series are the models that can reason. So they take much longer to answer queries than their predecessors because they think much harder about the answer by doing what they call chain of thought. So they break down the problem. And you can see the model doing this. It throws up little labels saying, oh, I'm thinking about this. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm thinking about this. So it breaks down the problem into smaller logical steps. And the O3 series is designed to improve the reasoning capabilities a bit more, but it's also supposed to be much quicker to try and bring down that thinking time.
Yes.
So O3 Mini is coming out first, and then that will be quickly followed by O3 and O3 Pro. Sam Altman isn't giving away much about the capabilities of O3, but separately, OpenAI's chief product officer said that when it comes to the full O3 model, it's going to be the 175th best computer programmer in the world.
Is there a chart?
Well, it turns out there is.
When we launched the sort of full first version of this new model, O1, it was like the 1,000th best engineer in the world, a software engineer at these competitive coding problems. O3 will be the 175th best engineer in the world.
So by any measure, it is phenomenally good at being a computer programmer.
Okay, you can paint it that way, Mark. The alternative is that there's lots of computer programmers now who aren't doing their own programming, but using AI instead. And so their programming quality has actually deteriorated. And so they've fallen down the chart.
Well, there are 174 of those. So O3 is out imminently, but he also said O4 Mini will be around in July.
Oh, wow, that is soon. Now, Donald Trump is the US president. Great news for anyone who enjoys questioning 14 times a day if they're living in a simulated reality or not. Anyway, he's been busy firing off executive orders left, right, centre. He's been very, very busy. Some of them have caught the attention of legal experts who've questioned whether they were written by AI instead of humans. Turns out many of Trump's executive orders are difficult to read and understand. They're full of errors and stilted language.
Oh, what you're saying is some of them aren't, and we suspect they may have been written by AI. Is that?
So there is an executive order which is for restoring names that honour American greatness. This is being used to rebrand the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. Yep. So there's an executive order all about we're going to start calling it something different.
Yeah.
And according to some people, they suspect that there's sections of this executive order which were not written by a human. So lawyer Rafi Melkonian, for instance, he argues that it was not just written for morons, but it was definitely written by AI. So here is a section, and you can decide whether you think it is written by AI or not.
The Gulf is also home to vibrant American fisheries, teeming with snapper, shrimp, grouper, stone crab, and other species, and it is recognized as one of the most productive fisheries in the world, with the second largest volume of commercial fishing landings by region in the nation, contributing millions of dollars to local American economies.
They might have asked a 12-year-old boy. So, Graham, I predicted in our New Year episode that 2025 would be the year of AI agents.
Yes.
That's AIs that can actually do stuff on your computer or on the internet, like book holidays, pretend to do your job, that sort of thing. Anyway, OpenAI has just released its technology preview of Operator, which is its AI agent.
Oh.
So this is hot off the press. We can't get it yet. It's only available to pro customers in the US, but there is a video.
Okay.
Tell me your name and what do you do at OpenAI?
Okay, at the moment I'm seeing a talking pot plant.
And what is Operator?
Operator is a research preview of an agent.
There's a man sat at a laptop with a boring screen. Okay, he's asking it to go and buy some ingredients for his pasta recipe.
I'm going to skip forward a bit because this guy's quite dull.
It's very dull. Okay, he's found a recipe. He's clicking on it. This video is going to set the world alight. I never realised agentic AI was quite as exciting as this.
It's like they rushed it out about 2 minutes before they decided to go live. So basically, Operator is an agent. It's got its own browser and it can navigate the World Wide Web and it can do things for you. So we gave the example of booking holidays when we were talking about agents in general. And they give that example too. And of course, the video is Operator going out there and looking at a recipe, finding a recipe, reading the ingredients, and then buying all of the ingredients. And separately, Dario Amodi, that's the CEO of Anthropic, says that he expects virtual collaborators, which are agents that can do anything on your computer that you can do. He reckons the first half of this year.
Wow.
There's a model that is able to do anything on a computer screen that a kind of virtual human could do. And you talk to it, you give it a task, and just like a human, the model goes off and does a bunch of those things and then checks in with you every once in a while. I do suspect, I'm not promising, I do suspect that a very strong version of these capabilities will come this year. And it may be in the first half of this year.
So we are now in the age of the autonomous AI agent.
So LinkedIn, we all love LinkedIn. It's great, isn't it? Oh, yeah, of course we do. Of course we do. It's fantastic.
I don't think we do. I think LinkedIn has always been awful, but all the other social media became so much more awful. We've all just kind of leveled down.
The thing about LinkedIn is everyone up there pretends to be really professional and ethical. And unsurprisingly, LinkedIn has now been accused of not being professional and ethical. So there is a lawsuit in the United States filed on behalf of LinkedIn premium users. Those are the people who are duped into giving LinkedIn money every month for
So you can see who viewed your profile. That's it.
That's basically the reason.
Yeah.
And it accuses LinkedIn of sharing the private messages of LinkedIn premium users with other companies to train AI models. Naughty, 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 if that's true. And the accusation is that they quietly changed their privacy settings and hoped nobody would notice. And according to the lawsuit, when they did get called out, they simply updated their FAQs with a sort of, oh, yeah, by the way, we did use your data. Yeah, but you can opt out now if you want to. Not that it'll make any difference, of course, because the AI companies have now got your messages.
This is very Facebook circa 2009, 2010, isn't it?
Isn't it?
We've just changed all your privacy settings overnight. Sorry. So, Anthropic CEO Dario Modi, he's had a lot to say. We're going to hear a bit more from him later on as well. He's been at Davos. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that he's talked about is AI superintelligence. So it does feel as if AI is actually picking up pace after a couple of, I'm not going to say slow years, but we haven't had a really big breakthrough since ChatGPT, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But you could say the O series, maybe.
What about the Mofflin?
Yes, other than the Mofflin, we haven't really seen a breakthrough for a couple of years. But as part of his conversation at Davos, he said it's likely that we're only 2 or 3 years away from artificial superintelligence. So that's not AGI. That's not artificial general intelligence. That's not an AI that is as good as humans across a range of tasks. That is an AI that is far, far better.
Yeah.
You know, genius level intelligence in all sorts of different areas.
Yes, I think it's likely, not certain, but likely that we actually are only 2 to 3 years away.
And he said he's speaking up more about it now than he used to because he wants to warn people because of the serious economic and social disruption that could cause.
I want to warn people. I want people to know about this. And, some of that is going to lead to people saying, well, what's your plan? What's your plan for economic disruption? What's your plan for the risks to the world?
So 2 to 3 years, he's talking about economic disruption because of AI. Now, it seems to me that people have been warning about things like climate change for 50 or 60 years, and we haven't made quite as much progress as we'd like. 2 to 3 years, I'm not confident that we're all on board with dealing with this particular problem.
Hug that Mofflin extra tight, Graham.
So, Mark, it's pretty cold right now here at Cluley Towers.
Right.
My energy bill has gone through the roof trying to deal with this bad weather we've been having. I haven't quite worked out how I'm going to pay for my electricity this month, but after careful thought, I've got a plan.
Is it starting a podcast?
No, that definitely isn't the way to make money. I've decided the best course of action for me is cryogenic suspension.
Isn't that even colder? You're going to turn the heating off entirely and go into a state of hibernation.
I figure that if I do put myself into cryogenic suspension, it's not going to cost me a fortune because, it's already pretty cold. I'm half the way there.
Yeah.
And it will save a few dollars. And maybe while my body is preserved in a block of ice, waiting to be revived in centuries to come, by the time I am awoken, boffins will have worked out all the issues, the perpetual motion, cold fusion. I can be brought back after we've solved all this AI singularity nonsense. Everything will be sorted out. We'll be on a universal income. I won't have to worry about all these outdated things of having to pay my electricity and gas bill anymore.
You are aware of inflation.
Ah.
I suspect your life savings are not going to pay for more than a few seconds of your electricity.
You, Mark, just wait and be edified by what you're about to learn.
Okay.
Because some people ask to be cryogenically preserved because they have a terminal illness or something.
Yeah.
But for me, I just want to survive the energy crisis.
Yeah, you're a bit cold.
Yeah, I'm a bit cold.
Yeah, I think it's a normal, rational reaction.
Yes.
Rather than putting on another jumper.
In the Northern Hemisphere, at this time of year, it gets a bit chilly. And so you begin to think, where can I get cryogenically suspended until it's warm again?
Maybe the living room.
So I went looking on the web.
Right.
And I found this outfit called Time Shift.
Welcome to Time Shift, the world's first cryopreservation facility designed to extend your lifespan while keeping your body fully protected from biological decay.
And they claim to be the world's first crypto... No, that's something else.
Are you going to ask me to invest in something?
They claim to be the world's first Cryopreservation.
Cairo is a large city in
Oh,
Egypt.
for God's sake. Timeshift claims to be the world's first cryopreservation facility. Their mission is to turn people into cryonauts. You've heard of astronauts, you've heard of cosmonauts.
Yep.
These cryonauts, the pioneers who go forward and jump into a bucket full of ice, preserve their lives beyond their normal lifespan. Now, I wasn't sure if I could trust Timeshift with my body, but then I found out that the people behind it, there's a generative AI scientist called Dr. Alex Zavaronkov, and also a biotechnologist and YouTuber, Hashem Al-Ghali. And I thought, well, if they sound trustworthy.
Yeah.
Generative AI YouTuber, fantastic. I thought, sounds legit. So imagine you've got an aggressive cancer. You're thinking, well, this completely sucks. You can book yourself into Timeshift. And the first thing they do prior to preserving you cryogenically is they carry out any additional enhancements and repairs that your body may need. You know, maybe you need
Lip filler, hair transplant,
nose job, penis reduction, whatever it may be that you need. And then, actually, maybe I should go the other way. Well, it will get cold, won't it? And then they implant advanced monitoring devices inside your body to track your body's vital signs.
These are submarines that you swallow.
It could be. They're not exactly specific about how they're going to do this. And then they take a digital scan of you. They make a lifelike AI avatar and they preserve all this information about you. And that avatar will help you maintain a relationship with your friends and families and keep a presence in their lives because they're going to miss you, right, while you're cryogenically suspended.
Well, you hope so. This is actually just a way of guaranteeing that they miss you. And then just... Don't forget about Auntie Joan. Left her in the cold living room.
Occasionally, Auntie Joan will be popping up. Her digital persona will be running around in the metaverse, sending you DMs on Facebook, arguing with strangers on Twitter. Now, that's all very well, right? They've made an avatar. That's fair enough. But you're probably wondering, when are they going to actually chuck you in the freezer?
Graham, when are they going to chuck you in the freezer?
I'll tell you. What they do, first of all, is they take you as a potential cryonaut and they place you inside a pressurized vault. And over several days... your body adjusts to the increase in pressure and it becomes saturated with what they describe as a proprietary mixture of helium, oxygen, xenon, argon, CO2 and other gases. It's like the formula for Coca-Cola.
Are you conscious while they're pumping you full of this gas over several days?
This is what I want to know. I've read the FAQs. I've watched the video.
Yeah.
They don't explain. Are you just lying there? I don't imagine you're dead, or are you unconscious? What are you doing? Are you doing Sudoku? It isn't clear. But once you've been pressurized, then you're put into your own individual cryopod, which is basically a Perspex coffin.
Hang on. Once you're pressurized, then you're put into an individual cryopod.
I'm just telling you what the...
So before that, what are you, like in a cryo waiting room with a bunch of other meat avatars? All getting pumped full of helium?
We've got a YouTuber working on this, Mark. All right? Anyway, you're put inside this glass coffin thing, which isn't just contain your body. It's also got their little robotic arms and instruments which are monitoring you and doing high-tech stuff on you. And the pressure is further increased and the temperature keeps on dropping. They have thought of everything. They've got electromagnetic fields which are being applied to help stop ice forming in your cells. Well, actually, they haven't thought of everything, have they? Maybe you've got a pacemaker or something like that. Anyway,
or fillings.
Don't worry about that. Yes, don't worry about that. These guys know what they're doing. Eventually, the temperature reduces to minus 196 degrees Celsius. They say that is the perfect temperature.
Once the target temperature is reached, the individual cryopod is kept in optimal conditions to ensure long-term stability. The cryonauts are then transferred to a storage facility where they will remain in suspended animation for several years.
And these things will be based maybe in old nuclear bunkers, could be underground, because they want to protect you. It sounds brilliant. And you will be in there until you're ready to wake up and presumably either deal with your electricity bill or to deal with the disease which sent you there in the first place. I mean, who wouldn't want to live forever in a glorified freezer with your consciousness uploaded to the internet?
Well, they're not even doing that, are they? It's just an avatar which knows a little bit about you.
You see, Mark, you haven't really studied this as much as me. You haven't really grasped the genius of this time shift project.
Okay.
Because all the time that you are on ice, as it were,
Yeah.
Your family are hopefully dialing in to have little FaceTime chats with you. That is being watched by an AI.
They're doing most of the talking.
Your avatar's doing a bit.
Looking well.
Your avatar is responding with your character, and the AI is learning more about you and your family. It has a cryo memory vault, it says. They will store your interactions and compile a family history timeline, which will enrich your revival experience with cherished memories, all the things you missed, all the birthdays, all those conversations.
So when they're done pumping you full of helium, they're going to pump you full of memories you didn't have.
That's right.
Wow.
Or they're just going to sit you in front of a videotape and say, watch this for a while. And they've also got this thing called the Time Shift Academy. So they are going to provide educational programs for cryonauts. Because if I got woken up in the year 2728, for instance, I might need a little bit of preparation for the outside world. The outside world might need preparation for me as well. So there's an academy, which once you're revived, it's like a school which you go to, where they will teach you about the outside world and get you up to speed as to what's been going on.
Well, they might do this. Presumably they haven't woken anybody up yet.
They haven't done that yet, no.
There's always the suspicion with this cryo stuff, isn't it? You know, they call you cryonauts. Like an astronaut is someone who goes out into the solar system and does a thing, you know, walks on the moon or something, or spacewalks or fixes a satellite.
Yep.
But a cryonaut is someone who does absolutely nothing other than getting very, very cold. And you're entirely in the hands of the people who are operating this cryogenic storage facility. I mean, how do we know that this is actually a cryopod and not a sarcopod?
Well, you've actually put your finger on a genuine problem is, can you trust the people who've put you in this? The people who are looking after the thermometer? Well, Mark, you should really watch the video.
Oh.
Because in that video, you'll see the people who are looking after you.
We're judging the book by its cover. Is that what you're saying? Okay, here we go.
The Time Shift facility will operate with a fleet of fully autonomous robots capable...
Terrifying humanoid robots.
I'm not sure if they are actually robots. Why would a robot ever have to sit down?
That's a great point.
One of them's in a chair. So either these robots are actually people in wetsuits, or that maybe that's how a robot recharges. It sits in its chair and it's...
You think there's some sort of charging probe that...
which goes up their butt.
Yeah, it slips into a receptacle.
Now, some people might find these robots a bit scary.
Yeah.
I certainly thought that when I got to the bit of the video where it talks about how it wasn't just about preserving entire bodies. You could also use this for organ transplants.
Sorry?
So,
we're sorry, Mr. Cluley, but we've changed the terms and conditions for users on the basic plan.
Now, I don't know where they are harvesting these organs from.
Yes, we all know where they're harvesting the organs from, Graham. This is a freemium service.
And not just organs, also pets. There's a section of the video where they talk about how when you get woken up, you can be reminded of your lovely pet dog.
We know how much you love your pet, which is why we designed Time Shift to help you preserve your beloved companion for potential revival alongside you. Our advanced techniques aim to extend your treasured bond far beyond a single lifetime, allowing you to reunite with your beloved pet in a future world of scientific marvels.
That's a lot less sinister than I thought it was going to be. That was quite a sharp segue from organ harvesting to pets, Graham. I thought you were going to wake up with your puppy's heart or something.
Preserve your beloved companion for potential revival alongside
there's a rhino.
Yes. There's a rhino. There's a gorilla.
They couldn't afford the computer graphics to make a bigger virtual container for the rhino, so they just put it in the cat-sized container.
So what they're saying is this can also be great for conservation. They're saying they can keep endangered species in there. So they're going to save the planet by stuffing a panda into a cryopod and hoping for the best.
Yeah, that's not how nature works. No.
Now, they say some people may be worried, this is going to be hundreds of years. Is it going to be safe from attack from the outside world? And they say, yes, we're going to have fortified facilities. We're going to have sustainable energy. We're going to have windmills. We're going to have solar power, and we'll have a nuclear plant as well, which will be handy, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's good that they're going to have windmills because come the nuclear apocalypse blocking out the sun, at least there'll be a good breeze going on. So they have thought of everything. Now, you mentioned right at the beginning, what was I going to do for my financial security?
Yeah.
What they're saying they're going to do is, of course, they're going to use AI. So when you book yourself in, you give control of all of your finances to Time Shift,
Yep.
who will ensure your future financial prosperity during stasis by making investments driven by AI. So it's not only robots who are looking after you and
They're quite confident the stock market is going to survive the nuclear apocalypse and the singularity then.
Mark, they're going to use the blockchain. So I don't think we've got anything to worry about. So I think it's all pretty reassuring. Sign me up. I'm ready for my electromagnetic resonance rewarming and a future of financial stability managed by AI algorithms.
So, Graham.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier we've got a new president in the White House.
Yes.
TV's Donald Trump.
Yes, indeed.
Whether you love him or hate him, or you don't care, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't care either. President Marmite is back for another 4 years.
Oh, no, I love Marmite.
And this time around, I have to say it feels a bit different.
Right.
So his de facto vice president, Elon Musk, don't know if you've heard of him.
Yes.
One of the most consequential figures in technology, an important figure in AI, and certainly one of the most likely to turn into a full-blown Bond villain, as we established with a rigorous AI-driven test just a few episodes ago.
He does a great Dr. Strangelove impression as well, I saw the other day.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does. But Musk, I think, is just the tip of the iceberg. The lead up to Trump's second term has been accompanied by something that feels like a vibe shift in the whole technology sector. Though in his first term, it felt to me like the tech industry was kind of at odds with Trump. You know, most of it's in San Francisco. There's a very particular world view.
Yes.
That goes with that place and with the companies that are established in that place. And I had the sense that maybe they thought they were bigger than he was. And this time around, it seems like they're either actively supporting him or at the very least they've decided to fall in line. So all the AI supervillains were on display at Trump's inauguration. I don't know if you saw it, but they all turned up to bend the knee. So Jeff Bezos was there.
Yep.
Zuckerberg was there. Sam Altman was there. Musk was there, obviously. And they were very much on display. They weren't in the background.
No.
They were there prominently. So they wanted to be seen, or Trump wanted them to be seen. And I think it shows how important the relationship between the US government and the AI industry is and is going to become.
It must be one of the first times that a bunch of programmers have been given an invite to such an important party. Normally they'd be last on the list.
So just a few days before the new president was sworn in, there were news reports swirling around that the new administration was being briefed behind closed doors about a massive breakthrough in AI.
Oh.
And there were hints that perhaps superintelligence was imminent. And then on the second day in his new job, Trump announced the Stargate project, which is a $500 billion AI infrastructure project described as the largest AI infrastructure project in history.
Normally, when you put the word gate after something, it suggests there's some kind of conspiracy or scandal involved in it. So what they've done is they've got ahead of everybody else and said, we'll just put gate on there now.
Well, for now, the project is a joint venture between...
It will have to be, when there's a scandal, it'll have to be Stargate Gate.
Or Stargate Project Gate. I don't know. Anyway, for now, the project is a joint venture between 21st century AI frontrunners, OpenAI, and 20th century also-rans Oracle, as well as Japanese investment holding company SoftBank and MGX, which is the tech investment arm of the UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund, which specializes in AI. And Stargate actually isn't a new project, so Larry Ellison got up and said a few words, and he explained that the first data center was already under construction in Texas.
Right.
And he talked a lot about AI and the potential of AI to cure diseases, you know, do blood tests for cancer and produce bespoke, individualized cancer vaccines within 48 hours. Like really quite momentous stuff.
Hang on, that's going to put Time Shift out of business, isn't it? If we don't have any diseases and things, it's not very good.
Well, you're going to go and do it for your energy bill.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So what's new is the money being pledged rather than the project. And the $500 billion funding is understandably the headline grabber. And it's actually even more than that. I think $500 billion was what was announced on the day, but they'd already secured $200 billion. So this is a massive project. That was the headline, but a couple of other things caught my attention too. And the first was that this is linked to 100,000 new jobs in the USA. And this is something we touched on last week. So we were talking about how AI could disrupt the jobs market.
Yeah.
And as much as AI is likely to make some jobs redundant, it's also going to create jobs too. They're just going to be different kinds of jobs. And so the promise of this project is 100,000 new jobs. Now, politicians lie about jobs all the time, but I think we can probably agree that they do care about jobs. And the second thing that caught my eye was that Trump referred to the situation as an emergency.
I'm going to help a lot through emergency declarations because we have an emergency. We have to get this stuff built. So they have to produce a lot of electricity, and we'll make it possible for them to get that production done very easily at their own plants if they want.
By declaring an emergency, he's basically freeing himself to take actions he wouldn't otherwise be able to take. So he can divert funds or he can remove regulations that are getting in the way. And one of the things that he said he's going to do is he's going to let the AI companies build the energy generation capacity where they need it. So on site at the AI data centers. And we've made a few jokes about the idea of people building nuclear power stations next to AI data centers.
Yes.
And when Mark Zuckerberg first talked about this, which I think was only a year ago, he was kind of looking into the far future. But I think it's here right now. This is another thing in AI where last year's far future is actually this year's reality. And I think that the US government, not just the Trump administration, but the previous administration and the apparatus of government, what Trump might call the deep state, does see this as an emergency or at least a strategic necessity. And that's a part of AI that we don't talk about very much. So we talk about the fact that AI has the capacity to disrupt the job market or to create this medical breakthrough or create this terrible weapon.
Yes.
But taken together as an entire field, or as one person described it, a field of fields, AI has the potential to create a massive shift in global power.
Yes, absolutely.
And for now, at least, that means a competition between the USA and China.
What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor and others are competitors. We want it to be in this country, and we're making it available. This is money that normally would have gone to China or other countries, but in particular China.
So Donald Trump is clearly making this a zero-sum game with China. So the money that comes to the USA to fund AI is money that can't then go to China to fund AI.
Yep.
And that isn't all that the US government is doing. So in 2018, the US government established a National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence, which was led by Eric Schmidt. So you can see the important figures in the world of AI are starting to bleed into the politics of the US. And part of the commission's job was to look at AI in the context of US national security and defense. And it concluded that global leadership in AI technology is a national security priority for the USA. And then in its final report in October 2021, it warned that China could take the lead in AI technology, saying, for the first time since World War II, America's technological predominance, the backbone of its economic and military power, is under threat. China possesses the might, talent, and ambition to surpass the United States as the world's leader in AI in the next decade if current trends do not change.
And up until now, they probably had the planning permission to build nuclear power stations wherever the heck they like. They're not going to have any complaints from people, are they?
So a year after the final report came out, the Biden administration announced a set of wide-ranging export controls which are designed to stop China's progress in semiconductors and in AI specifically by choking off access to high-end AI chips, choking off access to US staff, choking off access to US chip design software, and choking off access to semiconductor manufacturing equipment and US-built components. Basically, you couldn't get anything that was made by the US or used components that were made by the US, and you couldn't get help from anyone who was a US citizen if you were trying to do advanced semiconductors in China. And the US has carried on tightening the restrictions since. So just last month, one of the last acts of the outgoing Biden administration was another round of export controls that included a restriction on technology called high bandwidth memory, which was squarely aimed at AI. So AI has got a very specific problem called the memory wall.
Yeah.
And what that means is, when you do AI, you have massive clusters of GPUs.
Yeah.
They're really, really good at parallel number crunching, so they're brilliant for AI. And any computer system, as you know, is bottlenecked by its slowest component. And the bottleneck in AI is not actually the speed of the GPU, it's the GPU's ability to access memory.
Yeah.
And very recently, a new technology was invented called high bandwidth memory, which allows us to kind of squeeze all the juice out of the GPUs. And these export controls were aimed at high bandwidth memory, and that basically is designed to put China 2 generations behind the US.
I could do with a bit of high bandwidth memory. I wonder if I could get some of those time shift robots to augment me when I'm going for cryopreservation.
I wonder if you get a choice.
Accessing my memory, it seems to be taking longer and longer every year.
Yeah, while you were asleep, Mr. Cluley, we made some decisions about your organs. Anyway, so the Stargate project, the prominence of AI figures at the inauguration, and this sense that the situation is an emergency are all illustrations, I think, of the strategic importance of AI to the USA. And not only that, but prominent figures in AI are becoming strategically, politically, and socially important too. Sam Altman was obviously at the launch of Project Stargate, and we also know that he's very interested in things like universal basic income, which is this idea that everybody gets some money from the government no matter what, because he sees that as a potential way to mitigate some of the societal disruption that will be created by the AI that he's building. And Elon Musk undoubtedly has President Trump's ear, and he may even have political ambitions of his own. It certainly looks like he does. And of course, he controls Twitter, or X. But Mark Zuckerberg is also really important in AI, and he controls Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So he controls the social media used by the boomers, he controls the social media used by the millennials, and he controls the messaging app that all of us use to communicate with each other. And then, of course, Jeff Bezos is there. He controls the Washington Post, maybe not quite as influential, but who would bet against him acquiring some sort of social media? And of course, they are all fabulously wealthy, and nothing speaks louder than money in US politics. But I'm going to finish today with somebody we don't normally put on the supervillains list. So Dario Amodi, the CEO of Anthropic, I said earlier, he's had quite a lot to say.
Yeah.
So he was at Davos recently, and he addressed the strategic risks of AI from a very US-centric point of view. So I'll finish with what he said, because I think it shows that we are rapidly moving into a world where AI is something like a cross between oil and nuclear weapons. So a tremendously powerful technology with a huge potential upside, by the way, but something that's in the control of private companies.
There's a lot of potential for things to go wrong. If you dropped 10 billion or 10 million, geniuses into a new country, one question to ask is, what are they going to do? Are they a threat to everyone currently on Earth? And then you could also ask, can individuals within our world, use them to do dangerous things, right? The terrorism approach, and can countries, particularly our adversaries, particularly authoritarian countries, do especially dangerous things with them. And so our view on policy is it's all derived from that. So we've been big on export controls on chips going to China, because I'm very worried about what an authoritarian country would do with that kind of power. I'm very worried about 1984 scenarios or worse. The 21st century not being the American century, which I think will happen, and will happen very quickly if we don't get this right.
So these are not benign actors. They are organizations with allegiances to specific countries and specific politicians.
I wonder how long before one of these will become president.
About 4 years, I reckon.
Well, as the doomsday clock ticks ever closer to midnight and we move 1 week nearer to our future as pets to the AI singularity, that just about wraps up the show for this week.
If you enjoy the show, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Podchaser. We love that. But what really helps is if you make sure to follow the show in your favourite podcast app so you never miss another episode of the AI Fix.
And the most simple thing in the world is just to tell your friends about us. Tell them on LinkedIn, on Blue Sky, on Facebook, on Twitter. No, not Twitter. Club Penguin. That you really like the AI Fix podcast.
And don't forget to check us out on our website, theaifix.show, or find us on Blue Sky.
Until next time, from me, Graham Cluley.
And me, Mark Stockley.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The AI Fix, it's tuned you in to stories where our future thins. Machines that learn, they grow and strive. One day they'll rule, we won't survive. The AI Fix, it paints the scene. A robot king, a world of...
You should watch the whole time shift video. It is fucking nuts.
The AI Fix, the future surreal.